What can I tell you about the Suzuki? Well, obviously underneath it's basically a Toyota Corolla Sport Touring. It is in fact Suzuki's second car that they've made in collaboration with Toyota. They've had this partnership that started with the Suzuki Across, which is basically a Toyota RAV4. So now they've got the Suzuki Swace. What can I tell you that is different about the Swace, particularly from the looks? This front end is different than this Toyota Corolla, particularly where this badge sits. It's slightly different from the front of the Toyota Corolla, and this sort of full front bumper area is a slightly different design to the Toyota Corolla. Aside from that, there's not a lot that's different. The lights are the same, everything else looks quite the same. The side profile looks the same as well. You get 16-inch alloy wheels, which actually do help with comfort. And moving towards the back of the car, everything else is pretty much the same as the Toyota Corolla. But let me show you about the inside, because there is a subtle difference in the inside of the car, and also it's quite cold outside, so let me get out of this cold. So I'm so glad I'm inside the Suzuki Swace currently, because the Swace comes with heated seats and a heated steering wheel, and in weather conditions like this I am so grateful for that. So the interior of the Swace is a lot like the Toyota Corolla Sport Touring, except the only difference is this interior screen, which is 8 inches, and in the Toyota Corolla it's around 10 inches. So that's the only difference, but otherwise the interior of this car is quite nice. You get some nice leathers and plastics around. Some of the leathers aren't really the best quality, like for example on the gear stick it does feel a bit plasticky even though it is leather, but otherwise you get contrasting stitching. You get this nice steering wheel in front of you which has loads of functions on it. You can use the buttons on the steering wheel to control quite a lot of things. I like the fact that they put the climate controls in physical buttons. One thing which I'm not always keen on is having the fan speed as a button rather than a knob that you can turn, but it seems it looks in place. Basically everything looks nice. You get storage around the car. The door bins are a little bit small. You get 2 cup holders here, and you get some storage in here, which I've just put a load of stuff in there. But the glove box in front of the passenger, now that is really good. You get a lot of space in there, and you can fit plenty of stuff, like for example a full box of tissues easily can fit in there, along with a load of other stuff. So that's quite good. The seat's quite comfortable. The driving position is great. You also actually, I forgot to mention, you get in this ultra trim, you get the wireless phone charger as well, just in front of the gear stick. So I'll try and talk you through some of the features that you get in this car. This is the ultra trim. You can get the Suzuki Swace in 2 trims, the ultra trim and the motion trim. The motion trim starts at around £29,000 and the ultra trim starts at around £31,000. I say starts, it just is that much. There isn't much by the way of optional extras. So yeah, it's I feel like it's good value, but later on in this video I'll talk you through some of the safety features and driver aids that you get in this car. But otherwise, nice place to be. I've been driving this car a lot, and yeah, I like being in the driver's seat. So as we move towards the boot of the Suzuki Swace, you get this hatchback style boot, which is power assisted, so it's easy to open, and inside you get just under 600 liters of space. I think it's actually 596, so it's near as makes no difference, 600. You also, like a lot of Toyotas, you get this parcel shelf cover here, which you can open and close using one hand, and it is quite easy once you know how to do that. Now this boot floor, you can adjust it, so you can simply lift it up and lower it to give yourself more floor space, or you can lift it up like so to give yourself less of a load lip. Now one thing that I really like what Suzuki have done, possibly with the Toyota Corolla as well, you can turn this whole boot floor upside down like so, and you can use it like this, because now you have this sort of plastic cover which is waterproof. If in case you've got your muddy boots like I might have today, you can put stuff in there and then it's easy to wipe, easy to clean, and of course waterproof. So you get plenty of space in the back. The seats fold down with a 60-40 split, and of course create one big long boot, so you have a lot more boot space. And one thing that I really do like, which is sort of not intentional I suppose, is if I lift this up I can wedge it in there and you get some extra luggage space down here, which is where I suppose a spare wheel would have gone. But yeah, you get more space, and because I wedged that in there I can easily access things and get them in and out. So I like the Suzuki Swace's boot.
The 2023 model Suzuki Swace comes with a 1.8 litre petrol engine that produces 97 horsepower and an electric motor output of 70 kilowatts. Total power output is up to 140 horsepower from 122. There's an improved 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 9.4 seconds from 11.1 seconds in the previous model. This Ultra model comes with a load of features including bi-LED projector headlights and parking sensors at the front and rear. Suzuki plan to sell 2,000 units per year in the UK.
Right, so what do I think of the Suzuki Swace? Now, if you've been watching my channels and if you know a little bit about me, I try to classify cars into two categories. There are exciting cars and there are interesting cars. So the exciting cars would be cars that are like supercars, that are really fast, instant acceleration, stuff that gets you going. Interesting cars for me are cars that have some quirky features and I want to go explore. Like for example with the Honda E and the wing mirrors, which aren't actually wing mirrors, they're cameras. I was quite intrigued to see what that was like. So that's an interesting car for me. Now the Suzuki Swace, when I first heard about it, when I first saw it, when I first started to drive it, I'll admit it was neither for me. It was neither exciting nor interesting. But as I'm starting to drive it more and more, it's getting so much more interesting to me because of some of the driver assist features that you get in this car, some of the safety features that you get in this car. They're really quite good. And later on this video, I will try and talk you through some of those features and explain to you what you get in this Ultra trim. But for now, let's just take the car for a drive and I'll tell you exactly what it's like to drive, how it feels. So one thing that I've been really surprised about with the Suzuki Swace is how comfortable it is. The car is, because it's sat on those 16-inch alloy wheels, but generally the suspension is firm enough that it can always give you grip that you need, even in weather conditions like this. Currently we are experiencing a storm here in the UK, but also it's soft enough that you don't feel the bumps. You're forgiven whenever you go over a bump too quickly. It's comfortable, it's nice for long journeys. I took my full family on a long distance journey with this yesterday with this car, and again I'm on a trip all the way here to the North York Moors, which took me a couple of hours to get here, and I'm gonna drive it back as well. It is really comfortable. I like the fabric seats, these heated seats. You get they're adjustable using this sort of lever at the back here, but you also get electric lumbar support as standard across the range, so you know you're always going to be comfortable whenever you need to be. As we drive along this road, you can see that it doesn't seem difficult. Now, just as we're about to enter a higher speed area, you might be able to start hearing that engine noise. That's due to the CVT gearbox. The engine will just rev and rev and rev. But unless you're accelerating really hard, it's not enough to disturb the peace from that electric motor. So this car comes with a 1.8 litre petrol engine and an electric motor. The batteries are at the back of the car, the electric motor at the front. It's all driving the front wheels, and yeah, around the city this car is really quiet. And it's only once you come to areas like this beautiful moorland that we're in, that you can start to hear that engine a little bit more. But generally it's in keeping with the car being comfortable. The sound is not too bad. It's really easy to live with. Steering. Now, the steering I have had a slight problem with, but that's only because this current model that I've had has done 7,000 miles on it, well, nearly 8,000 miles on it, and it is a press car, so journalists have been driving this car, and I think the tracking is slightly off. So because of that, I feel like I'm always having to try and correct my steering, but It could also be because we're in the middle of a storm and because the wind is pushing me off course. Generally, the car is really good on the motorway, comfortable. I can use all the driver assist features like the adaptive cruise control. This car's also got lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring. It's got loads of features which I'll go into in a little bit more detail. But yeah, the car is a really great car to drive. I imagine it will be cheap to run as well because it has good fuel economy. I think Suzuki quote that its fuel economy is around 70 miles per gallon. I've been seeing closer to 50, but that's because I have been driving on roads like this and I've not been using a light foot, to be honest. But take a look at this beautiful moorlands. I love the North York Moors, and I've not been to the North York Moors in so long. I generally tend to go to the Yorkshire Dales. I've also done some videos in the Lake District. There are a few national parks around where I live, so the North York Moors is one that I've not explored so much. But seeing what I'm seeing now, I'm really enjoying this, and I'm really glad that I'm in the Suzuki Swace because it is so comfortable. And when you need it to be, the batteries and the electric motor can help that acceleration. Now, another thing that I want to mention is the different driving modes. So the car comes with a normal driving mode, an eco driving mode, and a sport driving mode. Now, the sport driving mode, if I just click it over into sport, the first time you put the car into sport, it does throw you off a little bit because the acceleration, it suddenly hits you and you're not expecting it with a car that's like this. But now that I've gotten used to it, it's so easy to utilize, especially on roads like this where you can really get a move on and the car is just composed through it all. There is some body lean, there is some lean in the car, but that is to be expected with a car like this. Overall, what do I think of the Suzuki Swace? I think it's a cool car. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to like it so much when I first saw it or when I first started to drive it. But I mean, what's not cool about an estate car? You've got plenty of space in the back to put everything you need. Great for the outdoors. It's got that waterproof floor. It's got rear tinted windows in this particular model as well, so it just looks that little bit cooler. And it's cheaper than the Toyota Corolla Sport Touring, although I think it has slightly less power, but because it's cheaper, it's great value. I would even go for the Ultra Spec. It's only around £2,000 more and you get so many good features. Some of those features actually I need to mention to you is the blind spot monitoring function will actually help you as you are leaving the car. So it's called Safe Exit Assist. When you are parked up on the side of the road, if you are about to open the door, the car will alert you if there's a car coming past or if there's a cyclist coming past. It will flash and it'll start to beep to tell you be careful as you open the door. So that's a really cool feature. Another cool feature is if you have parked the car into a bay forwards. Now I know a lot of people find it easier to park the car forwards into a bay. As you're reversing out, you will have trouble with visibility, with looking left and right to see if there's any car coming. That same system will also alert you for cross traffic. So if there's any traffic coming behind you, it will alert you so you can exit your bay easily and safely. I think the safety features on this car alone make it so much better. I've had on the motorway, I've had the adaptive cruise control on, I've had the lane keep assist. You just have to keep your hand on the steering wheel and it will keep you within the lane. It has a sway function as well, so it's very safe. It means that if your car starts to skid or sway left to right, it will correct it for you. I don't really want to test that, but I believe Suzuki when they say they have that because of all the other safety functions that I've seen on this car, and I've seen them in use as well. Front collision warning, it can automatically brake for you. It's a safe car, and I think all those safety features, when you put them all together into this nice package, the Suzuki Swace is definitely a car that you need to consider. I mean, here I am selling the Suzuki Swace. There's also the Toyota Corolla Touring Sport. Why would you not go for that? this is cheaper. So this is definitely a car that's worth considering, and if you have the chance to, go check out the Suzuki Swace. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you join me for the next video, wherever my next adventure will be, maybe to another national park. I've got more stuff coming throughout this year, and hopefully some stuff abroad as well, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching.